Okay, today I want to do another solo preview test. I want to show off two new generals. We're going to be showing off Erebus from the Cult of Rillock and Reth Xoth, the Twin Abominations from the Others. As usual, the disclaimer is almost all of this are just placeholder. We're going to get right into it. I'm going to be playing both sides of this game, but I'll annotate everything as everything happens. So right off the bat, Erebus is a necromancer. We have rapid necromancy. Our reanimated souls have rush. We can reanimate a soul that costs 2 or less for 3 mana, but when it dies, it gets banished. And every 3 non-token friendly souls that die, we get a 2/2 Bone Golem, adjacent to our general. And for the opponent, they can, for 0 mana, alter mind, discard a card with the lowest cost, and then draw a card. For 0 mana, alter form, give a soul +1/-1, and then at the start of your even turn, summon an amorphous vestige near your general. With that, let's get right into things. So we have a bunch of undead and undead synergistic things. I'm going to make a replacement here first. I don't think I'm going to need Lash of Perdition early in this game. We're going to go ahead and replace that. That's not much better. We're going to move up, and we're going to start off with the Mannequin Tumor, which has an advent of put a soul with a cost 2 or less from my grimoire into my crypt, and if I do, gain +1 attack. This is great because it starts to prime my crypt. I've already got something in there, although this one isn't particularly good to resurrect, because it's better when there's more things in the graveyard. We've still got something in the graveyard. And pass the turn. My opponent is going to do some replacement, and they are going to open up. I think this is what's going to happen. They're going to play a Writhing Voidspawn, a 2-mana 1/2 or 2/1 with fusion and advent. Summon a 1/1 amorphous vestige with fusion. Fusion cards can be played on top of one another, and they fuse together and gain rush. So the others have a pretty significant amount of swarm tactics. And with 1 additional mana, my opponent is going to alter form on my Entomber. So I have to basically use it somehow this turn, or he's just going to alter form it again and it will die. My draw was terrible. Let's replace one of these big ones. Move this up. 3 mana. I think this is the play. 3 mana, 3/3. When you reanimate a soul in the crypt, if this is in the crypt, reanimate this as well. Banish it if it dies again. Generating more potential value for when I reanimate. I could also go for the little reanimator boy. He just reanimators, it comes back immediately one time. If it dies again, it gets banished. So there's also this. We can play this as a provoke, but I think it would probably just die because he's got 4 power on the board already, and I don't care if this dies. So I'm just going to drop this down, and I think I'll move a little bit closer. Already replaced, pass the turn. Opponent is on 4 mana. It's getting a little scary for me here. They have a lot of options, so I am going to play a Vestigial Propagator. At the end of your turn, add a vestige to your hand. These are vestiges, but there are other kinds of vestiges, and this card will cycle through 4 different vestiges. It provides a lot of value, so I need to get rid of it as soon as I possibly can. And then, of course, he's going to alter form on my Mannequin Tumor to kill it for free. And then he has to decide whether he wants to kill my zombie or not. And I think he absolutely will. So he's going to play a... Oh no, that's right, he already used his mana. So he's done. Passing it back to me. This is the troubles of playing both sides. I'm going to replace my 7-drop. If only I had that last turn, I could have killed that 4/1 and actually gotten some value out of it. But presently I have this, so I can kill some things. This is a pretty good value because he won't get the fusion out of it if I kill it now. And this will survive. And then there's this that I need to figure out how to kill. What's in my graveyard? There's these 2. So if I reanimate now and I get this one, it becomes a 2/3. Not that good. If I get this one, his advent will trigger again, and I'll put another thing in my crypt, which is pretty good. But I don't know if that's the best choice. I think we're definitely going to kill this, because I don't want him to have that and be able to fuse onto it. Now I could kill this myself with this to give me additional mana to play that, which is quite powerful. It summons a copy out of your opponent's grimoire with cost between 4 and 6 when it dies, and it also is just a 5/3 flyer. So that's something to consider. I could also play this, which is pretty good. it will kill at least 2 of his things. I mean, he can alter form it, but then it'll reanimate. He'll have to at least trade one of those 1/1s into it. I'm leaning toward getting maximum value out of this because he's just going to alter form it. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to take a risk that he doesn't have some kind of removal for this Blood Moon Soul Stealer. And I think I'm going to stay right where I'm at. So we'll pass the turn. Okay, opponent, do some replacements. He's going to use Alter Mind to discard a card. And draw a card. 5 mana. Oh, I made a play mistake on the other side. I should have played this first. Mind Warper, whenever you discard a card, draw a card, but I wasn't thinking. Could have had an extra card draw there. Then moving this over to here and playing a Writhing Mind Scab on it, which has fusion and advent, add a Mind Barb to your opponent's hand. So you fused it, they added together, the 1/1 and the 2/1 became a 3/2. It can move again, so he's going to move it here and immediately trade it with my flyer. What do I get? Ooh, I get a Spatial Violator. 5 mana, 5/3, flying. Whenever the soul leaves a space for any reason, summon a Spatial Rift behind. You're going to see that in a minute. And the Mind Barb that thing created, this thing adds a Mind Barb, is this right here. At the start of your turn, if this is in your hand, your general suffers. Oh, it says 2 damage. It actually does 1 damage. I recently nerfed that. Gotta fix the tooltip. Okay, so my opponent has 1 mana left. He has to decide what to do with 1 mana. And I think it's going to be altering the newly created Spatial Violator. And then pass the turn back to me. So I took 1 damage from Mind Barb. I think I'm going to play that just to get out of my hand. I still want to kill this, and I can with this. So that's pretty good. Yeah, we'll get rid of the Mind Barb. I'll fly this over here. Leaves this behind. This is immobile. At the end of your turn, summons 2 amorphous vestiges in your nearby. So now I've got some of his minion generation. I'm going to trade with that. And since it left the board, if that's leaving a square, it generates another one. So I've just got a whole lot of minion production out of that. And I've got 4 mana left. So there's my zombie here. I'm going to play this. Should replace something. I'm thinking about the Spine Staff. I have 2 undead, so it would be okay for them. And I could play it just to prevent him from being able to alter this. And then he'll alter one of these. Actually, he'll probably alter one of these anyway. So this isn't terrible. I'm not really in any danger of taking any damage from him at the moment, so I will go ahead and just put the Spine Staff on and block these guys. I haven't replaced... I'm going to keep this in my hand because I probably should have killed this. It's going to give him a lot of card draw. That may have been a mistake. I think I will replace this one, though. Another one of those guys. Okay, pass the turn. I generate a whole bunch of 1/1s. So my opponent is definitely going to start altering those portals so that I don't keep generating them. And this one right here is just right next to it, so I'm going to come up and he's going to just punch that one with General. So both of the portals are gone, but at least I got 4 1/1s out of the deal. So let's see. My opponent has some choices. He is going to make a replacement. Okay, here's the play. He plays a Life Without Bounds onto one of his vestiges. This guy is normally it's a 2-mana 0/1. But it fused into the 1/1, so it became a 1/2. And whenever you summon another soul, it gets +1 and +1, so he's going to try and summon a bunch of guys this turn. By doing so, he's going to play another fusion. This is one of the vestiges he got from the Vestigial Propagator. It is a fusion and flying. Now we can fly that around and kill off more of my guys. Where's the best one? I'm going to fly it all the way over here and kill this one. This is going to come up, kill that one. This is going to back away because I want it to be bigger. In order to make it bigger, I am going to play another one of these. It gives it +2/+2. And also a Nourishing Cyst to make it even bigger still. The Nourishing Cyst is an immobile unit. This is a unique one. This doesn't have fusion, but its finale is fuse this soul into a friendly soul with the least health and give it +2 health. that is a consistent issue, right? So if it fuses into something and then that thing dies, it'll fuse into something else. So it makes a persistent minion. It's very, very dangerous. And he's going to pass the turn. So my 4/1/1s didn't really do a whole lot. He cleared them out relatively easily. This is interesting. To give all the souls in my crypt +1/+1, I have quite a few in here, although the only ones that I can resurrect is this and this and this, because my resurrection ability will not bring back tokens. There's 2 in there, which means I have 2 left. Okay, cool. I think I am going to play that. Seems pretty good. I do need this to die, but I can kill it with this. Okay, so let's get this Grave Tender down. Put it here. And then I've got enough mana left to... I also kind of want to kill that really bad. See if I can. So I'm going to trade this into here, because this has Reanimator, and it's just going to come back to life immediately. Which means I can trade it again immediately, because my undead that reanimate have Rush. So I was able to kill his really big threat with no problem. And this guy came back, because when that skeleton reanimated, it pulled this with it. So this is going to come over here and murder this. So I'm in a pretty good position. This is mine. I could just run it into him. This is a new one. This is the old one. I could kill this thing. Let's get that out of the board. Now, I can still reanimate, which would get one of these two. Either one would be fine. There's a lot of minions in my graveyard now, so if I got this, it'd be huge. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's reanimate. I got this guy. That's okay, because he's going to put something in my graveyard, and it's going to be a grave tender. That's fine. This can kill this thing. And this is my opponent's only minion. I've already moved, unfortunately. This hasn't, though. So I'm worried about this, because if it dies, it'll start fusing into all of his other stuff. So I'm going to do somewhat of a slightly inefficient play. I'm going to use my Incinerate to kill his last remaining unit, and then bring this down here and kill this so that it's wasted. Nothing for it to fuse into. So I've basically dominated the board. Now, this has been a back-and-forth game. Pass it back to my opponent. Okay, my opponent is in dire straits. This may actually be the end of this game, because I have undead everywhere. I've cleaned up all of the enemy's units. My Reclamation has just gone crazy. But he still has some options. He's going to use his Alter Mind to discard a card. He discarded the Errant Thought. And the Errant Thought, if it gets discarded, gets summoned and gets +1/+1. So it's like a free discard. But his hand, he only has 3 cards in his hand. So he doesn't have a lot of options. He can alter form to remove one of these 1 cards. So he removes that guy. Or 1 healths. And this has Summoning Sickness, so he can't use it yet. It doesn't have fusion, so he can't fuse onto it. You can kill this just by punching it. He has 7 mana, but not much to do. Wow. He already replaced. He already used Alter Mind. This is dire. It's dire straits. So he's going to do a desperation play. He plays the Consuming Vortex, which is another kind of unique fusion-adjacent card. It also doesn't have fusion, but it fuses an adjacent soul into itself. And since it fused, it does have Rush, and so he trades it with my big 5/3, just to get it off the board. The rest of my opponent's hand is terrible, so he's passing the turn back to me. So he managed to clear a few things, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I'm going to move this here. I'm going to come over here. These are going to start to advance. I'm just going to surround him. And I've got enough mana to reanimate. And oh, I got the big one. This is 7/8. It's normally a 1/2. But it gets up to +5/+5 for souls in my crypt, of which there are, I believe, more than enough. There's another one of these. 2, 3, 4, yeah, there's 5. And then it also gets another +1/+1 because I still have the Spine Staff equipped. Now, this does have Rush, but Rush units cannot attack generals the first turn they're played, so I can't immediately hit him for 7, but I basically have this game wrapped up. I'm going to punch him with my general. I'm going to punch him with this. Everything else moved. Pass the turn back. So he spawned that unit there because every 2 turns he summons an Amorphous Vestige. But it's a little too late. He's going to fuse the Life Without Bounds into it, then use his discard ability, Alter Mind, to summon that, which makes it a little bit bigger. which does allow it to kill the skeleton, but the skeleton has a reanimator, so it's going to still be on the board, and his would just trade for it. He did get a pretty good draw, though, or replacement, so he is going to play Destabilize on my big guy, which turns any minion into a friendly vestige, so my huge dude is now just a 1/1, but he's still surrounded, so it's still not super great for him. He can alter mind, or alter form to kill off that skeleton. And since I did summon another minion, because he summoned this thing, this is, over here is now a 3/4, and he can trade it into the skeleton and it won't die. Of course, it does just come right back for me. But then he follows up with, oh no, he has no mana left. Yeah, it's pretty hopeless for him. Passing the turn back to me. I have no cards in my hand, which is a little scary, but it doesn't really matter because I've loaded my graveyard. Like, I've got another 2 cost in here. I can resurrect that. I can't get the tokens, but I can get this. So yeah, I can just make another really big minion. Let's get rid of whatever he's got on the board. This is already reanimated once. So let's move this over here and just go ahead and get rid of that. Why can I not attack him with this? Oh, that's mine. I thought that was my opponent. Yeah, well, whatever. We're just going to beat him up. There's this, which I will trade that into to get rid of it. Move this up here. This is a little bit dangerous if I leave it alive, but I think at this stage I've got enough pressure that I don't need to worry too much. I'm going to put this up in the corner because if it dies, it'll come right back. He's on 10 health past the turn. This draw was not very useful. Well, he can alter body to get rid of that guy because it already reanimated once. It's going to play a Spatial Violator. Buffs his life without bounds. What is he going to do with it? What else does he have to do with it? Oh, he does have one more option. He's going to alter mind, which is going to do damage to me because he discarded this Neural Lash. Whenever you discard it, it does 3 damage. Normally it's just 2 mana, deal 2 damage. But the draw he got with it is not very useful. So he can... That doesn't even help. He can trade with the skeleton, but the skeleton just comes right back. I mean, there's not much for him to do. Oh, and that spawned another one of these for me because it killed a minion. Yeah, I think this game's over. So do I have lethal this turn? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I do not have lethal this turn. I'm going to replace this. That doesn't help. This is a little scary. I probably should have just used that to kill this, but that's fine. We obviously are going to reanimate. Where to reanimate, though? Move these over here. Let's just run that into him, run this into him, get that damage in. I'm going to come up here and reanimate here. Yep, I got the big one. Easily enough is to kill this. I couldn't kill him because it has rush. But now I can just kill this for free. This comes over, gets the 1 damage in. This comes over here, and turn. So, my opponent desperately searching for an answer. He doesn't find an well, actually, 5 health. I want to show you a really cool combo. So he's going to play another Spatial Violator. And then he's going to use Consuming Vortex to consume the Violator. And since the Violator left a space, it generates a portal. He then moves it up because it has a rush, trades it with my big guy, then dies and spawns yet another portal. So he's trying to like flood the board in the last minute. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be enough. I think I can still kill him. It depends on where these vestiges spawn, and since they're clustered up in the corner, we don't have too many spawn locations. There's really not much else he can do. He's out of cards. And it's the turn. So let's see. He did surround this guy. Makes it hard to bring it to bear. So I have 2, 3, 4. I have actually only 4 damage that I can do to him right now. 1 off lethal. This isn't needed. That's worse. I can't make use of that. This is fine. We'll figure something out. Okay, so I only have 4 damage, but like I think we just put all the damage into him. Oh, I only had 3 damage. This kills one of these. We play this anyway. We obviously reanimate something. This comes down here and kills that. And then we pass the turn. Okay. My opponent is going to try and get out of this if he at all can. So these, this guy gives provoke, and he gives all other undead provoke. And so these are all stuck. These guys with the little targeting reticles on them can't move or attack anything else unless the thing they're attacking also has provoke. So it's kind of locking him down a little bit. But the question is, can he clear this board with whatever he's got? He did draw another Neural Lash, so that gives him a free draw, basically, because it gets discarded and played. Let's see. Is there any way out of this? Well, he's going to go ahead and play that. Move that over here into this. Trade one of the vestiges into that just to get it off the board. I think, well, you can alter this, but that's not good enough. Yeah, that is definitely the game. Pass back to me. He did spawn a bunch of units, and I did run out of guys, run out of cards, but yeah, that's the end of the game. So that's a preview of Erebus, the Necromancer, versus Reth Xoth, the Twin Abominations. There was a little back and forth. Ultimately, he just didn't have the cards he needed to pull out a victory.